Lyrics of the Lost.
Hello! We're talking to you today in February. And you know what a special time that is? That's right, it's Valentine. We hope you're having some good Valentines wherever you are.
Oh.
Yeah, and indeed whenever you are at the time you listen to this. Maybe it's still 1998 where you are, because you live in Adelaide.
Hey.
Classic local jibe at a sleepy Australian city.
Yeah.
But hush! This is Valentine, a time of love and kindness. It's not Greenwich time, because that's a mean time.
Hey.
Mean and nasty time of the Green Witch. Back to Oz with you! But not this Oz. This is Australia, where Pacifically, we're living in New South Wales, right on the Pacific Ocean, Pacifically. So join all the locals here and let's have a bit of an Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Saving sort of a time here together.
Oh dear.
Except straight away, we're off again, going far back in time and space, past Adelaide, because episode 36 is this.
We've travelled to Canada.
Canada, that's right.
Yes.
Constant Craving by K.D. Lang, 1992. Written by K.D. Lang and Ben Mink. And sung by K.D. Lang, lead singer of K.D. Lang.
Formerly of the Reclines.
The Reclines? Wow,
Yeah.
never heard of it. My research didn't go that far back.
Oh, well, there you go.
Not the Recliners, but the Reclines.
No, the Reclines.
Maybe when she gets a bit older, she'll join the Recliners.
Yes.
All right, thinking caps on now as we go to the lyrics.
To the lyrics, to the lyrics. Let's find out if there's more to the song than you thought. Our methods are empirical. What's it all about? Well, let's go to the lyrics.
The phrase constant craving is a big part of this song.
It's a very big part of this song.
Indeed. It's right there in the title. And in the context of the chorus, it's
There's always been.
constant craving has always been. Repeated again and again and again. Constant craving has always been.
Always been what?
That's interesting. It could be an unfinished sentence. My constant cravings have always been bloody annoying.
Yeah.
My constant cravings have always been about guacamole.
Oh,
Don't know.
yeah.
But, not to get all grammar Nazi about it, I'd hate to do that, but I was feeling this might be a bit of a tautology. Like, if your craving has always been, is there any need to say that it's constant?
Well, no.
I think that's worth investigating.
I think you could have a long-term intermittent craving.
Well,
My craving has always been intermittent.
but then you're really talking about consistency rather than constancy, which I think might be two different things. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just saying something could have always been the way that it is now, but it doesn't have to be constant.
if it's always been the way that it is, I think it
Like coming and going.
I mean,
It's always been from between 3 and 4 p.m. on a Thursday.
But okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then, if it's gone away between those times for a week, can you say it's always been? I mean, it's always been and come back,
Yeah.
and then gone away again.
I'm thinking it's always been like this,
Yes. Okay.
or it's always been the reason I smell of cigarettes, or it's always been why I'm queued up outside an RSL club waiting for the poker machines to open.
Because it's always been something you've done.
Always been the reason why I'm not allowed within 100 metres of a school. But it doesn't have to be constant.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose a craving could suddenly pop up and then become constant, but then you couldn't say that craving has always been. Like, my craving for guacamole is pretty constant. But before I had ever tried guacamole, it was never something I craved. So I couldn't say that craving has always been.
So do you constantly crave guacamole? Like, are you craving guacamole right now?
I am a bit,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And although, I didn't crave it before I'd tried it, perhaps unknowingly, I did still crave it. There was possibly like a guacamole-shaped hole in my life that has always been there without me knowing. So it is hard to say. There was an emptiness inside I didn't know how to fill before guacamole. And I'm sorry, I know you don't like guacamole.
No, that's not something I crave. Yes.
Yeah.
I would not crave guacamole. I did have a pretty much constant craving for M&Ms.
Oh, yeah. I have seen you eat a lot of M&Ms in a sitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
About 6 months ago, I took the decision to never, ever eat another M&M for as long as I live.
Wow. Cold turkey.
Yeah. Yep.
As long as you live, that's a big call.
Yep. Check back in 50 years, see if I've managed it.
All right.
Also check back in 50 years to see if I've lived to 105, but that's another thing.
It could happen.
Yeah.
You're on the cutting edge of science. You'll get
that's true.
First access to all the miracle cures.
Yeah. I'll obviously have my brain in a jar.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There could be times when this craving that Katie's having, although always present, maybe it peaks intermittently, kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And also like my craving for guacamole, like it peaks when I'm hungriest, but it also troughs, when I've just brushed my teeth, and the pepperminty aftertaste would not pair well with guacamole.
Sure. And if you just had a massive bowl of it, would you still be craving it?
Well, yeah, that's true. That would be a trough. Yeah. A trough that I've eaten it out of, probably. That's the only way I'll have too much. I've eaten a whole trough of guacamole. Yeah, then I would have to say I have an inconsistent craving that has always been. But even if it's at an inconsistent level, the presence of Katie's craving would still be a constant.
Yes.
It's just, constancy and consistency. Consistency is very important in guacamole. Not too chunky.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yes.
But anyway, what I'm getting at is I think Katie could maybe have dropped the constant or dropped the has always been, and that would have left room for Katie to tell us what it is she's craving for. Because it's really not clear. Whatever it is, she's clearly gagging for it.
Yeah.
Yep, she's stark craving mad.
Hey.
But we're just not too sure what it is. And maybe it's not an it. Maybe it's multiple things she craves for. Although it's true she doesn't sing constant cravings have always been, but she might be asserting that we only seriously crave one thing at a time, and that we then move on from feeling and concentrating on that one craving to feeling and concentrating on the next craving. And perhaps we do that constantly.
If hers is constant and has always been, she's pretty much focusing on the one craving all the time.
Or she has one craving at a time and then changes to a different craving.
Oh, I see. She's constantly craving something, but it's not always the same thing. Ah.
Yes. And she's saying we've always done this, all humans throughout history, perhaps animals and plants too, always concentrating on the next craving and never really stopping to be at peace in the moment. That could be it.
I blame social media.
You can blame social media for that, sure.
Yeah.
And to illustrate this timeless constancy, Katie sings constant craving has always been, again and again, until you might want to punch the radio. But that's just how much she believes it to be true. So
yeah, I think that's a standing joke when the song came out was to refer to it as constant whining.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it is. I mean, I do harp on about the chorus, but
it's true.
But so does Katie. There's only 2 verses in this song. The rest is chorus. 5 lots of chorus.
I question whether she's actually talking about a craving at all.
That's a big call.
It is.
Well, with all that we've said so far, we might as well just scrap it and start this again now. God, we're not talking about craving.
Well, look, we'll get to the verses, but the verses seem to describe some sort of search for truth or search for love or
Wisdom, yes.
Wisdom, something to do with souls.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a craving to me. That seems more like a yearning or a longing.
True. I do. When we get to those verses, there's only two of them, but they seem to have nothing to do with the chorus.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So craving is more kind of an urgent, insistent type of desire, like I must have guacamole now, or I must shove half a bucket of M&Ms in my face in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're usually basic human needs.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, if you're an addict.
Indeed.
Food, guacamole.
Yeah. Whereas yearning or longing is a more long-term, spiritual, psychological thing.
Yeah.
You can yearn for love. Her soul could be yearning for truth.
Constant yearning.
Meanwhile, her body is craving strawberries.
True. I'm sure there's some sort of equivalent in Buddhism, which she's apparently a big fan of, but I'm sure there's the higher plane of consciousness and there's more sort of higher thoughts, and then there's the sort of base human instincts and cravings. Yes, probably quite separate things. Yeah.
I think she's done a bit of an Alanis Morissette here with this and hasn't quite got her definitions right.
Isn't it ironic?
Isn't it?
No, it's not. Yes, constant craving. Yeah, I'd like to say, actually, when K.D. Lang eventually guest stars on Downton Abbey, she'll be introduced with,
"Excuse me, Lord Grantham. Lady Constance of Craving has arrived."
Yeah. I'll just leave that there.
Lady Cravingsworth.
Yes. I was also thinking the chorus could be K.D.'s lament on consumerism. Like, we always crave more and more material things and the riches to buy them.
Yes.
We always have. And most of our societies are ultimately driven towards sort of harsh capitalism, where the greed of the greediest people will exploit all the other people and leave them poor. And then the greedy people will blame the poorest people for not being greedy enough.
Yes.
Except they don't say greedy, they say poor people are not ambitious or aspirational enough. And that's why they shouldn't get any of the tax money that I've avoided paying.
Yeah.
So perhaps K.D. chose constant craving because it's an obvious anagram of scone cravatting. She thinks we all want to be tying silk scarves into cravats and wearing them about while eating scones. Such is our greed, and it makes us sad.
Although, now that you mentioned scones, quite fancy a scone.
But not constantly.
Not constantly, no, but currently. Current craving.
Current scone?
No, just a plain one.
Yeah, fair enough. Something else that is sad is when our well-fed cat, Maggie, starts meowing pathetically 2 hours before dinner time. And K.D. Lang might be referring to the constant craving of cats, because constant craving is also an obvious anagram of starving cat con, which is what all that meowing is. It's a ploy. It's a con.
Oh, well done.
So that's another possibility. Because she's, a wordsmith, very clever with her words, although...
Quite economical, I'd say.
Quite economical with the words. That's right. And, at the end of the song, with all that constant chorusing, as always been, the chorus sort of fades out of earshot, as if the person recording it sort of got bored and is wandering away with the microphones. And like Katie is still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Constant chorusing.
She's singing the chorus, and she has always been.
Seems like she's always, since time began, she's been singing this chorus.
Yeah.
But yes, we should look at the first verse.
Sure.
It starts with... Even through the darkest phase. Be it thick or thin. So she's gone through some dark phases, as we all have.
Yeah.
But luckily it's just a phase, as your mum might have said, because at age 5 you refused to eat anything except chicken nuggets and white bread.
Yeah.
But if it's an adult phase, okay. Katie sounds troubled. But then... Always someone marches Always someone marches brave.
Here beneath my skin.
Here beneath my skin. So, she sounds pretty impressed by her own inner resilience and fortitude.
Yeah.
I mean, it is always good to remember that you will bounce back from stuff, especially if it's just a phase.
Well, is she talking about herself marching brave beneath her skin or somebody else?
Another personality, perhaps?
Yeah.
Maybe her baser self that is not only baser in terms of the level beneath her skin, but also baser in her cravings, her sort of base level cravings.
Yeah.
That we discussed earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking she might be a werewolf, but we'll probably get back to that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jinx.
Oh, here we go.
That's my theory too.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, so immediately after that first verse, she launches into the chorus of Constant Craving. So I thought, okay, does that mean deep down she's brave enough to still crave things even in hard times? Yeah, like maybe craving some comfort food, some Tim Tams, eat a whole block of Cadbury's in one sitting, eat a stupid amount of cheese or guacamole.
Well,
there's nothing very brave in doing that, though.
No, but I think there's nothing to do with whether you can afford something as to whether you crave it. Like, even if you're in a fortunate position that you can probably afford to eat quite a lot of guacamole if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. There's hard times as in financial times, but there's also hard times just in, heartbreaking times or...
Yes.
Yeah, all sorts of things. So, yeah, you can always treat yourself to something, even when you're strapped. But
even if you couldn't afford any guacamole, I think you could still crave it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that would be more of a longing for guacamole because it's out of your reach.
But it's not a very brave thing to do. For that braveness beneath your skin is bravely daring to crave and then give in to those cravings.
No.
Or maybe she's talking about craving a better life, even as you're struggling. Like Scarlet in Gone with the Wind, when she's at her lowest moment and starving. It strengthens her resolve.
As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again.
I swear I'll never be hungry again.
I'll always eat guacamole.
Yeah, well, ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Although she was in America, and I think most of their avocados come from Mexico.
Expensive.
She might have to go south. On to the second verse, then. And we have... Maybe a great magnet pulls
all souls towards truth.
All souls towards truth. That sounds like a generous assessment of humanity to me.
Yeah, it's a very, very evocative line. Although I really can't put my finger on what it is that it's actually evoking.
Yes, well... Mysterious. That's good.
Yeah.
I wonder if she feels differently now than she did in 1992. Like, if there is a great truth magnet, maybe the polarity might have reversed since 1992. Like, more and more people seem to be sort of repelled from truth. These days, you can just deny truth if it doesn't suit you.
Yeah.
There's no facts anymore. It's all opinion. But maybe, overall, the much longer-term trend is towards progress.
Sure.
Even when politics in different places might take a step backward here and there. Was the world a more optimistic place in 91, 92? We had the Gulf War, but we also had the end of the Cold War. And Nelson Mandela was freed, and that was pretty much the end of apartheid too.
Yeah, so the Berlin Wall came down, was that late 1980s?
That's it.
There was a bit of late 80s optimism, I would say.
Yeah. That might have leaked into 1991, 92.
Yeah, sure.
And more gay people were coming out and finding a bit more acceptance, as Katie did in the same year as this song.
It's really interesting looking back at what a big deal that was at the time.
I don't really remember that being a big deal, but I've read that because she was sort of semi in the country and western genre.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very conservative, that can be a very conservative family values sort of
Yeah.
area.
But even like 5 years or so later when Ellen DeGeneres came out on a TV show, that was a massive deal.
Yeah. Who else came out around that time on TV? I suppose George Michael. Had he already come out?
Well, when did he start getting arrested for
Yeah.
exposing themselves in toilets? That was about when he came out, I think.
That was a progressive move on his behalf
Yes.
to come out of the closet by getting himself arrested. That's the easiest way to do it. Or maybe that just speaks of his confidence that he was getting more careless with his, I think it's called cottaging, where you go around men's toilets and stuff.
Yes.
So maybe he didn't take his usual precautions, didn't put on a full disguise, because he thought, look, if I get busted, I get busted, and it'll all be out and for the best.
And often was all out.
Well,
yeah.
Back to the verse then.
Yeah.
Last bit of the second verse we have. Or maybe it is life itself. Feeds wisdom to its youth.
Mm.
Yeah, life's feeding them mostly TikTok videos, I thought. But life itself will certainly throw challenges to anyone living, and that makes you wiser as you live through and hopefully learn from your mistakes. You certainly won't be wise in youth, but life is feeding you wisdom in a roundabout way while you're young and then throughout life. I guess that makes sense.
It's an interesting turn of phrase, because I wouldn't have thought you would be fed wisdom. Wisdom's more something that you need to acquire from...
by learning it the hard way.
Yeah, it's not something that's being given to you. You need to suck it in, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah. We don't really know what sort of wisdom she's talking about.
Yeah. I think you can feed knowledge, but I'm not sure that you can feed wisdom.
Same sort of problematic terminology as between yearning and craving.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now, I got a little bit stuck on the idea of souls being affected by magnetism.
Oh, yeah.
Which implies that our souls are made of some kind of ferrous metal.
Yeah. And so is truth? How does it attract people to something else?
Truth is the destination, so that may be where the magnet is located, in the truth.
Oh, so somebody else is pulling the magnet, which is pulling the souls.
Well, possibly, yes.
And the person pulling the magnet is taking it towards truth.
Yes. So my search for information about whether our souls are in fact made of a ferrous metal took me as far as Plato.
Oh, wow.
Not Pluto, Plato.
That's a deep dive.
Yeah, well, that's right. He, in fact, wrote about our souls being composed of different kinds of metals, which was what he referred to as a noble lie.
As in he was telling a lie about this? Or
Well, it was an illustrative thing. So a noble lie being a lie told by the elite of society to maintain harmony and effectively keep everyone in their place. So
by telling you that your soul's made of metal, that's going to keep people in their place?
Well...
some people are gold and some people are...
There you go. Rulers have gold in their soul.
Oh.
Silver was kind of for sort of middle management. And then what he referred to as farmers and craftsmen, but basically the workers, had bronze or iron.
Oh.
Iron being attracted to magnets. So therefore, according to KD, it's only the workers whose souls will be pulled towards the truth and gain true enlightenment. So the ruling classes will never understand how the universe truly works and will remain ignorant buffoons.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It's also an excellent concept as the basis of a religion, I think.
Right.
In the sense of, and lo, on the day of the ascension, the great magnet will appear in the sky, and the souls of the true believers will be rent from their earthly bodies and pulled towards the eternal truth of our Lord.
Oh, that would make sense of that whole...
Yeah.
I always forget the name of that thing. I want to call it the reapening, but it's not. It's the... it's
the floating uppening, that one.
That one, the floating uppening. That's the one.
Yes.
Yes. It's the much better term. But often people with their religions, they like to craft an idol to their god.
Yes.
And they often make that idol out of gold, though, which would be a bit of an insult, I would think. if this model
Yes.
is going to stick.
I guess if you already possess all the knowledge and wisdom in the universe, you don't need to be sucked up by a magnet. You're already there.
I guess because the magnet's only attracting the souls.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, it's probably, if you're the one holding the magnet, it's probably best if you're not made of lead.
Yes.
Because it'll be very awkward. You'd be getting it stuck to yourself all the time. And it's probably best if you're sort of inert as far as magnetism.
Yeah.
And then you can concentrate on sucking up the souls.
Yep.
And not getting stuck yourself. Yeah. So, okay, good. That's all covered then. Good. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's two verses though. Yeah, they do feel like they're from another song.
Yes.
The chorus of Craving is really no answer to verses about wisdom and truth. Nobody's craving wisdom and truth if ignorance is bliss.
Yep. But I believe you can yearn for it. So,
yeah.
KD, time for a rewrite.
Yes. So, like you, we might have a similar theory. I was struggling to see the meaning of this song, but when I went back to the first line, even through the darkest phase,
yes,
it struck me again that phase is an odd term to use for an adult singing about dark times.
Yep.
So then I thought, what else has phases? The moon does.
Indeed.
And what are the darkest phases of the moon? Well, there'd be the phase of the new moon where there's barely any crescent of reflected sunlight visible.
Yep.
That's the darkest phase. But what if we're talking about darkest phase figuratively in terms of unspeakable evil? Because then you'd be talking about the full moon.
Yeah.
So if, and we must say if, K.D. Lang is actually a werewolf, want to avoid any libel issues.
Sure.
But yeah, that might be like what she describes as a brave or fearless being that is here beneath my skin, sort of marching bravely into the night of the full moon with a constant craving for blood, it would have to be. Yes.
Yeah. See, when you talk about the darkest phase, I took that as meaning even when there was no moon and she was in her human form, she's aware of the demonic creature within.
Yeah. You'd have to be aware, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think you might wake up in a strange place, totally naked, after the werewolf transition has occurred.
Sure.
And you might not remember too well what you'd been through, but I think you'd begin to suspect.
Yeah.
As you're picking flesh out of your teeth and going, oh,
yeah,
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, so yeah. I think she's quite a self-aware werewolf.
Right.
Self-aware wolf who...
Self-aware werewolf. Yes.
Yes. So even when she's in human form, she's just aware of those werewolfian urges within her.
Yes, that works a way around the darkness.
Yeah.
And the craving for blood has always been, of course, because werewolves have passed the curse down throughout history.
Indeed.
Yeah. By giving the occasional victim just a bit of a nip. And then that person becomes the next werewolf. And so on.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, of course, the other verse sort of shows the tragedy of being a werewolf, as KD's like a cursed, evil, immortal creature, observing the progress of humans over the millennia, souls pulled towards truth, while she herself is soulless, and she sees life itself feeding wisdom to its youth, while she, in the strictest sense, is maybe not alive, but sort of undead, and unable, therefore, to gain real wisdom or truth beyond the base cravings of the animal thing that she is. That could be what makes this song so moving.
Yeah.
And this is also why Katie could only write 2 verses, because it's the animal curse constantly pulsing its cravings through her mind and making it hard for her to concentrate on any lyrics besides the endless chorus of constant craving. Blood.
Well, yes. Apparently there was a third verse.
Oh.
Initially there was a third verse, which she took it out and replaced it with the instrumental guitar part.
Oh.
Perhaps the full moon came out and she ran off and couldn't finish the song.
Well, that's true, yes. You'd want to plan your writing around times of the evening at that time of the month.
Yeah.
Well, we can look at the artist's comments herself. She's quoted as saying, constant craving relates to samsara, the Buddhist cycle of birth and death.
Yep.
But then she also admits she wrote it before she got into Buddhism anyway, and honestly doesn't know where the idea came from. I just wrote it from the perspective of desire and longing, is what she has said, supposedly. And in a documentary...
longing. Not craving, longing.
Yeah, I guess she's just using other words to try and define the words that she has used. Because that's pretty much what you do when you're trying to define something for other people. You say, here's the word, and then here's other words that it means to help define it for you.
Sure.
So you wouldn't say, I just wrote constant craving from the perspective of constant craving, because that wouldn't be a helpful explanation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Craving, it's like craving, craving.
Yes. In a documentary, she also says, I was sitting at my house at my typewriter, and in my head I heard the phrase constant craving. When I wrote it, I felt it deeply, but I honestly can't tell you what I was craving at the time. Sex? Love? Something cold to drink? I don't remember. As a Buddhist, I struggle with desire, but sometimes I just embrace it. Acknowledging it, contemplating it, and making friends with it is one of my lifelong journeys. So, okay. That's what she reckons anyway.
Yeah.
According to lyrics.com, they quote K.D. Lang as stating the inspiration for constant craving came from her feeling of being drawn to destructive relationships.
Yeah, I can see, sort of craving something in these people who are probably not so good for her. Yeah.
Maybe there's, particular difficulties when you're still in the closet as a gay person, and you don't know what sort of reaction you'll get if you act on your cravings.
Yeah, true.
So, yes, I guess rather than express your craving, you might constantly crave it in private. And hence, it's more intense and all-consuming and works its way into your songs.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yes. Did you want to say anything about the music video?
Well, it's an interesting one.
Initially, I thought this looks a bit like the Crash Test Dummies music video that we talked about.
It's a Canadian thing, yeah.
They're always doing reenactments of stage plays.
Yeah, although apparently this one is a reenactment of a specific stage play at a specific time.
Yes, Waiting for Godot.
Yeah, Paris 1953.
Samuel Beckett's first performance in Paris.
Yeah, I've never seen or read it, but from what I understand, it concerns two men who wait by a tree on the side of the road for a man who never arrives.
Yeah, that's right.
And who may or may not exist. And while they're waiting, they meet a man and his slave and a boy, or possibly two identical boys. And in the end, they resolve, another spoiler alert, sorry, they resolve to come back the next day and hang themselves.
Yeah, right.
So
it's a bit of a mysterious play with sort of existential questions and themes and stuff like they try and put into these things.
Yeah, themes and shit.
Apparently the music video director, Mark Romanek, he thought the song's lyrics of desperation and waiting fit well with the themes of Beckett's play. So that's what he went for.
Yeah. This
video confused a lot of people. I saw on YouTube comments, what's with the clown show? This is stupid. And I mean, I didn't immediately recognize it as Waiting for Godot because I've not seen it before. I've seen clips, I think, of like Patrick Stewart and his co-star from the X-Men movies. What's his nemesis?
The guy from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that one. That's the guy. Wizard, you shall not pass, etc. Yeah, so I've seen clips of them doing it.
Yeah, right.
So I'm aware of the general look of people dressed as tramps and a tree.
Sure, yeah.
On stage.
Yeah.
So eventually I made the connection.
But what KD's connection to the people on stage is not clear. Like, she's initially singing in a car, and then she's singing to a goldfish in a vase. I mean, she does eventually find a tape recorder and a microphone to sing into, which seems like a better choice than a fish in a vase.
Yeah.
So she's acquired some wisdom.
Oh, good, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a bit of an odd choice for a music video, but I mean, it's a music video, so odd choices are all the go and have been for a long time. And sure enough, I think this music video won an award.
Yes, I think it did. An MTV award, I think.
Right. Well, they'd know. That's what they're all about, or used to be.
Yeah.
And the director of the music video, Mark Romanek, quite a good director. He went on to direct 1 Hour Photo, which I was really impressed by, with Robin Williams as a demented sort of photo developer.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Never Let Me Go, which was a sort of, not really sci-fi, but sort of alternate history with, I think it was people having clones of themselves to harvest body parts from if they ever need a liver transplant or something like that. And so it was it was a drama about those people, the clones.
Theories from the internet.
Shall we go on to other theories from the internet? Alrighty.
Yeah.
So looking for more information on Wikipedia, their page for this song has a little orange alert saying, this section needs expansion with the song's meaning. So they're obviously lacking any insights there into the meaning, except they quote a critic who says the meaning is that a sense of longing is an inevitable part of life.
Well, yeah.
Longing again. There you go.
Yeah, see?
On YouTube, user TF says, this song is definitely about chocolate. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that would be a craving.
That would be a craving. And yes, it's a constant craving for a lot of people.
Yes.
And for a long time. Although only been brought to the West in the last couple of 100 years. So hasn't always been.
No.
Meanwhile, another user, Gonzalo Filinic, he explains this song as, is girl voice with guy looking. That's as he's written it. So it's very perplexing to Gonzalo that Katie is not what you'd call a lipstick lesbian who still exhibits a lot of traditional femininity, like dresses and makeup.
Yeah.
Still on YouTube, a user, Susan Makowitz, says, I thought it was a song about my ex-boyfriend, Ken, that I went with when I went to St. Monica's High School. And then she replies to her own post with, I am so ashamed of myself that I posted that. He made my life a mess. I was so glad when I left his stupid ass.
Yeah.
And then she replies once more, and nobody else is participating in this conversation, by the way.
She doesn't seem that ashamed.
Yeah, she could have just can you delete your comments on YouTube? I assume you can.
Pretty sure you can.
Yeah. But her final comment to herself is, he really did love me. He admitted it to his wife. So there you go.
Oh, poor girl.
Ken, if you're listening, I think Susan is maybe still burning a candle for you.
Susan, stay away from him.
Yes, Susan Makowitz, just let it lie.
Yeah.
Leave the past in the past.
I found one very long, very pretentious essay.
Not written by AI, was it by any chance?
No, it's definitely written by a human. Constant Craving, a beginner's analysis on KD's trademark song by...
Oh, gosh. Did it make you want to find the advanced analysis once you got through the beginner's one?
Well, it should have been a pretentious analysis. They went on about different types of repetition, one called musematic repetition.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you say newsmatic as in NEWS?
No, MUSE, musematic. I can read you some of the pretentious essay if you want to know more.
Yeah, give me a flavour of it.
Without intentionally oversimplifying Middleton's erudite bifurcations, we can... Middleton is a person who they reference who writes about the use of repetition in music.
Uh-huh. We've all read that.
Yes. So, yes, without intentionally oversimplifying Middleton's erudite bifurcations, we can say that has always been lends itself to integrating itself with more intonation, phrasing, and subtle variation in rhythm. This phrase is narrative in the sense that it actually tells a story, even though technically it is only a phrase, not even a complete sentence. That's correct.
My God, it makes me feel like an amateur. Sheesh.
Yes, this is what discursive repetition does. This is one reason why constant craving is so alluring.
Oh, geez, you'll have to send me a link to that.
Yeah. Has always been points us to the excruciating irony of living a human life. On the one hand, all is in flux, and yet on the other, has always been seems to refer to the ultra-tenacious searching for meaning, truth, and authenticity. So there you go.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah.
Wizard critics. Whispered limericks.
Sorry.
Lizard clerics. Misheard lyrics.
I'm otherwise ready to go on to misheard lyrics in this song,
Sure.
as reported at kissthisguy.com and amiright.com. And also a bit of YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Comedian Peter Kay, we've mentioned him in a previous episode.
Oh, yes.
He seems to get into this misheard lyrics stuff quite a lot. He notes that a great magnet pulls all souls. All souls, I guess as pronounced by a Canadian, like our souls, does sound a bit like arseholes.
Yeah.
And he also notes that constant craving sounds very much like can't stand gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, copied those and reported them.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure which direction it's gone, but yes, so both of those are probably the most reported things.
Yeah. There's a lot more variations on constant craving, though. One person's mother-in-law heard it as God send gravy, which fits quite well. And I suppose if God sends 40 days and 40 nights of gravy, you might need to build yourself a gravy boat.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So on the gravy theme, there's also I can't stand gravy. There's always beans.
There's always beans. That's a nice little topper to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, another person also heard custard gravy, lost in gravy, tossed in gravy. So,
I can't stand gravy. Huzzah, waste bin.
Okay. Not really a misheard lyric, that one, I don't think. Huzzah, waste bin.
Huzzah, waste bin.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of people heard it as just one long word, concentrating.
Oh, okay.
That was different.
Sure.
Someone who commented that Katie's diction is very poor, they thought they heard her sing, and God said maybe. And God said maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting. Either her diction or it's their hearing that's poor.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any trouble hearing her lyrics, although someone else did hear it as one long word, constipated.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, constant drainage and constant praising were also heard. Mighty Duck on YouTube thought she was singing constant crazy. And another user, Albany Norton, said, when I was a kid, I thought she was singing Constant Carol, which is a cheap British brand of makeup.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some people have problems. I'm not getting that.
No. I'm not familiar with the makeup brand either, though, so maybe I've got the pronunciation wrong.
Yeah.
Be it thick or thin was heard as being a good thing by one person. Being a good thing. And maybe a great magnet pulls was heard as maybe a great magic boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, great magic boy. That gets back to your religion things. The great magic boy in the sky pulls us all towards truth.
With his great magic magnet.
Yes.
It's notable but trivial. It's trivial but still notable. It's notable trivia.
Okay, on to notable trivia. 5 years after this song, the Rolling Stones accidentally ripped it off, but realized just in time before releasing their song, Anybody Seen My Baby?
In fact, it was apparently Keith Richards' daughter who pointed it out just before they released the single.
Yes. Although Keith and Mick said they had never heard Constant Craving before, they assumed Keith must have subconsciously heard his daughter playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was probably only 67 at the time, playing records in her room.
Yeah, blame the daughter.
Yeah. But they then gave K.D. Lang and Ben Mink a writing credit and presumably shared revenues on the song, which that seems nice and civil. Well done. Well done, everyone.
I mean, it is, I don't know if you listen to it, but it is pretty similar.
Yeah, it is.
Just the chorus, not the rest of it.
Yeah, the chorus with Mick Jagger's kind of ridiculous accent.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen my baby? I can't do it, but anyway.
That's perfect.
Anybody seen
But in 1973, a band from Ohio called Glass Harp had a song called Foreign World. And it has an opening string melody that does sound very much like Constant Craving, as noted on YouTube by our user Mule Music. And I'll just play a bit of that here.
I didn't come across that one.
No, and I probably should have sent it to you because obviously you can't react to it right now because you can't hear it.
Gosh, that is similar, isn't it?
Do you want to do another take where you're a bit more ambiguous about how it sounds? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
And now one where you think definitely not.
Nothing like it.
Right. Okay, good. I've got all the bases covered there. I think I'll just use all three of your reactions, and then users can choose their own from your selection.
Yeah.
During COVID, a couple of Broadway musical guys formed an online band called the Stay-at-Home Wilburys. And I quite like that name. And they did a cover of this song to raise money for trans youth. But I like the Stay-at-Home Wilburys. That's the only reason I mentioned that.
Yes. There are a couple of other covers.
Yes.
Some of them are a bit sort of nondescript. The one that stood out to me was one by a group called Lesbians on Ecstasy.
Oh, yeah.
Renamed it Constant Craving.
Oh, well, see, I'm going to have to bleep you there. But yes.
No, a K-U-N-D. Constant.
Oh, right. Very good. Very good.
No bleeping required.
No, not now that you've spelled it out.
Yeah. But it was barely a cover. It was almost unrecognizable as the same song, apart from some of the words.
Okay. I'd like to give a shout out to Constant Craving Cakes.
Sure.
A small family-run cake shop in Gosford, just outside of Sydney. Their website says they've been in business for over 30 years now.
Always been.
Well, 30 years.
Yeah.
And that start date would be close to the release date of this song. So, they were pretty confident this song would be a real stayer in people's minds. They certainly...
Yeah.
They took more of a gamble than Constant Craving Chocolates in Tasmania, who only started up in 1998 and would have already known the phrase Constant Craving was burned into everybody's psyche.
Yeah.
So...
I wonder how many cake shops or chocolate shops worldwide are called Constant Craving.
Yeah.
I would imagine quite a lot.
Those were the ones that came up in my Google search because of my locality, yes.
Yeah.
Lastly, for me, on YouTube, there's a news video about a bird, the Montana Merkel, which is endangered, apparently because it's one of the world's most annoying birds. Its bird song is said to sound like someone noisily eating spaghetti, and its mating call sounds like the chorus of Constant Craving.
Well, it looks like Ernie found our camera.
When the Merkel gets sexually excited, it flies directly to a reflective surface, and there it rubs its genitals up against that surface.
Oh.
Maybe we should just coax little Ernie down.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can play a bit of that here, but you won't be able to respond again because you can't hear it. So you better give me 3 responses.
It's great.
Yes?
What the hell was that?
Okay, I believe that one was more like something you might say.
Okay.
The first one was a bit too enthusiastic.
Oh, sorry. And I'll just give you a...
Yeah, that sounds like you too. Yeah. So any other trivia there?
It's in Rolling Stone's top 30 lesbian songs of all time.
Oh my God. Do they really have to have a top 30 lesbian songs? So as in like songs written by lesbians or maybe about being lesbian?
Just with a general lesbian vibe, I think. I'm not really sure.
Yikes.
Yeah.
What else was in that list?
Yeah, didn't look it up.
I Kissed a Girl.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh dear. So anything else on Constant Craving, Dave?
I think I am satiated.
All your yearning and longing and craving is done.
Yep.
Well, like a great magnet pulling arseholes, we come to the end of another episode. And I feel that constant craving for people to subscribe, follow, rate, or review, and maybe help fund these important investigations with a paid subscription, as Jenny does. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah.
And send us a speakpipe.com/lyrics with your own thoughts for a future episode. But until then, bye-bye.
Love you, bye.
Lyrics.